What's up, guys? It's the Ben Garcia Show. Just a really quick edition of the Ben Garcia Show. As you guys know, I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I work at Fox Sports 910 here in Phoenix. Executive producer of the radio show The Drive, covering the Cardinals, covering all things Arizona sports. So you know I like to talk a lot Arizona sports because I believe it's the thing I'm the most expertise in. So with that being said, the Arizona Cardinals have the Detroit Lions this weekend. And I'm jacked up. It's not a game that I don't think the Arizona Cardinals can't win. It's not a game that I don't think the Arizona Cardinals are not going to be competitive in. And for the most part, I feel like I've been spot on with my predictions for the Arizona Cardinals. And for the most part, I've gotten a lot of things right. I thought they were going to beat the Bills. In my opinion, they should have, but they didn't. And that's on me. And then, of course, I had mentioned I do think they're going to beat the Rams. So last week, they put a full throttle on the Rams. Here's the problem. I believe the Arizona Cardinals were propped up this past week by the national media. Chase Daniel had tweeted that Kyler Murray's tape was the best tape he had ever seen. You might forget, Chase Daniels was also the backup quarterback to Patrick Mahomes. You're telling me he hasn't seen a thing or two of a quarterback with great tape? He's propping him up. Multiple people are propping up Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. And I believe the Arizona Cardinals are being propped up just to be slammed back down. I do not believe the Arizona Cardinals are going to get blown out this weekend. However, I've got to be fair. My heart says the Cardinals, but that's the fandom in me. You'll never get the fandom. The brain trust in me says the Detroit Lions are going to win this game this weekend. It's just not a fair spot for the Arizona Cardinals. It's simply not. Had the Detroit Lions beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week, like they should have, Aiden Hutchinson had 5 sacks in that game. However, the Detroit Lions offense isn't humming to the point where you would like it to be. I just believe the Detroit Lions are going to be desperate this weekend. They do not want to fall into a 1-2 hole and then be seen in Michigan and more specifically Detroit that it's the same old Lions, get our hopes high, just to slam us back down. I have my issues with Dan Campbell, the head coach of the Detroit Lions. Sometimes I think he's too emotional. I think at times he can be a little bit of aloof. But I trust Ben Johnson. And I trust this offense. And believe it or not, I just trust Jared Goff against the Arizona Cardinals. I don't trust Jared Goff in high leverage situations. I don't trust him in the playoffs. I don't trust him in the Super Bowl. If you remember correctly, the only Super Bowl he played in, he was atrocious. The Rams scored 3 points and lost the Super Bowl. But Jared Goff has a passer rating of 106, has thrown for 2,455 yards, has 14 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions in an 8-1 record versus the Arizona Cardinals in his career. He hasn't thrown an interception against the Cardinals since 2018. The only time the Arizona Cardinals have gotten the best against Jared Goff, have bested Jared Goff, was his rookie season when Jeff Fisher was his head coach. So I'm just not going to simply come out and say that the Lions are going to lose to the Cardinals because my heart says so. I got to look at the statistics. I got to look at the facts. Jared Goff has a 71% completion percentage against the Arizona Cardinals in his career. Throws about 2 touchdowns, does not throw any picks. 106 passer rating, and an 8-1 record. Yes, Sean McVay has something to do with that. Yes, Cliff Kingsbury is not there anymore. It's not Bruce Arians. It's not the Steve Wilkes era. It's the Jonathan Gannon era. And yes, there is some hope in me that the Cardinals can pull this game off. But I just don't think it's going to happen. Kelvin Beachum has a hamstring injury. We don't know the severity of it, but he's going to be going up against Aiden Hutchinson in this game, who has been playing like a man amongst boys. Jamison Williams has stepped into his own. And do I really have to hash out the history of Arizona Cardinals versus very good tight ends? I feel like this is the week that Sam Laporta breaks out and makes a lot of fantasy managers very, very happy. With that being said, there are some ways for the Cardinals to win this game. And it starts immediately with pressure against Jared Goff. Goff will dissect and is a completely underrated pocket passer in the NFL when he has time. He is actually pinpoint elite and hyper smart against coverages, very intelligent when he's not being rushed. You got to get this guy to speed up his clock. You got to get him to speed up his mechanics. You got to get him to miss a couple of steps. And that's another reason as well where I just don't know if the Cardinals can do that. I understand Dennis Gardeck, Zaven Collins, the pass rush had a field day last week. But again, let's be honest, Rams are missing their top 2 tackles. It was a depleted team. Wide receivers can't get separation. This is a completely different animal. This is a Lions offensive line that held the San Francisco 49ers pass rush last year in check. This is Penei Sewell. This is Frank Ragnow. This is a multitude of offensive linemen for this Detroit Lions team that I just simply think is going to be really tough for the Cardinals to break through. This is simply a matchup game. When you look at Jared Goff's statistics, when you look at the Cardinals' history against tight ends, when you look at the Cardinals' pass rush, and you look at the inverse of the Detroit Lions' offensive line, it's just not a great position for the Arizona Cardinals to be. Plus, you add the fact that the Lions are going to be playing desperate, and the Cardinals are high on themselves. So I feel like the Cardinals have been picked up this week by the national media just to slam back down into what they think is reality. The Arizona Cardinals are still a very good football team. Remember, the mission has always been go 2-2 in your first 4. Then you are in the driver's seat to make yourself a potential playoff contender. This week is not a must-win for the Arizona Cardinals. It's a bad matchup against a desperate Lions team, against a Jared Goff who has 106 passer rating, 2,400 yards, 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and is 8-1 against the Cardinals with a 71% completion percentage and has not thrown an interception against the Cardinals since 2018. It's just a bad matchup. Don't let this cloud your judgment of the Arizona Cardinals when the Lions do win this game. It's going to be close. It's going to be hard fought, but you just have to be fair to the Cardinals. It's not a great spot for them. It's a great matchup for the Lions. But next week, when Cliff Kingsbury comes to town, the Cardinals will win that game. We'll preview that one when we get there. The mission has always been go 2-2. I simply do not want Cardinals fans to freak out when they lose this game. And then let's just quickly talk the key deficiencies of the Lions that could quickly help the Cardinals potentially win this game, get back in this game, make it very close. Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, for some reasons has been getting multiple head coaching interviews for God knows what reason. Seriously, he is one of the worst defensive coordinators in the NFL, but somehow he keeps getting coaching interviews. But that's neither here nor there. Aaron Glenn likes to play a lot of man matchup, a lot of man coverage. It is not hidden. Marvin Harrison Jr., Greg Dortch, Trey McBride, James Conner. There is an opportunity to exploit what Aaron Glenn is indeed trying to do. Seriously, there is. So I expect it to be a high-scoring game. I don't expect Kyler Murray to be shut out at all. I don't expect him to take a huge step back. This is simply a matchup of X's and O's that the Arizona Cardinals simply cannot match. It's just a bad matchup at the end of the day. Now they're at home. The Lions are a 3-point favorite. I think that line should probably be shifted a little bit more into the Lions' favor. If you're betting on this game and you want my quick betting advice, I would probably take the Lions to win this game 27-23. Don't expect the Cardinals to lose by a ton. I expect it to be a highly competitive game. I expect the Cardinals to be ready for this game. I expect Kyler Murray to be awesome still. This is no indictment on the Cardinals or its offense. This is simply an indictment on matchups and the Lions being able to do a lot of things really, really well that the Cardinals inversely do horrendously. I'll be excited to react to it after the game happens. Maybe I do it right after the game. Again, you guys showed a lot of support on that. Until next time, I'll preview next week's game, but it's been the Ben Garcia Show, and I'm Ben Garcia, and unfortunately, the Lions will probably win this one.